is el tiempo libre, okay, which means free time, okay, but en español, libre means free in the sense of freedom, okay, not free of charge, okay, that is gratis, okay. In Spanish, we have two words that mean free, okay, depending on the free that you're talking about. Okay, so libre, and you can kind of see, I mean, you really have to think about it, but you can kind of see what English word that has to do with freedom in libre. Yeah, liberty. Okay, like I said, you had to kind of think about it, stretch it, okay, a little bit. But yeah, liberty, okay, libre, okay. So yeah, all right. So if you want something for free, don't ask, hey, is that libre? Because they'll just laugh at you. It's like, you mean gratis, okay? So looking then at page 88, these are some things that you can do during your tiempo libre, during your free time, for fun, okay? I guess I should say that as well, okay? Because some of you are like, oh no, I have to like clean the house and like pick up garbage and like take care of my dog and my cat. No. We're talking about fun things, okay? Fun things, all right? Lexi's like, what's that? Fun? So yeah, okay? So if you start at the very top of page 88, okay, you see a guy with like a green backpack and a red shirt, okay? Caminar por las montañas, okay? Now, does anyone remember what caminar? Walking, or to walk, okay? Now, in Espanol, we don't have an actual word for it. We describe the activity. So literally walking in the mountains, but what do we call that in Inglés? Hiking, yes. So caminar por las montañas, hiking, okay? So that's something you can do in your tiempo libre. Lexi, if you want to relax, you can go hiking, okay? Enjoy nature and all of that, okay? So, caminar por las montañas, all right? Moving down to the guy in the red helmet and yellow shirt. He's on a bicycle, okay? Ooh, I just gave you half the answer. Andar en bicicleta. What is andar en bicicleta? Yeah, to ride a bike, to ride a bicycle, to go bike riding. Hop on your bike and go. Okay, maybe not today, all right? But typically during the summertime, I see a lot of people out riding their bikes in this area. Now, here we have to do something, okay? In Espanol, the word for sport, for sports, deporte is sport, and then of course if you make it plural, deportes, okay? For the most part, okay? En Español, whatever sport you enjoy is typically lifted directly from English. So volleyball is voleibol. Baseball is baseball, okay? Hockey is hockey, all right? It just say it, but with a little Spanish flair. Now, there are some exceptions. This is one of them, okay? If you notice in parentheses, it says ciclismo. Ciclismo is the sport of cycling or competitive cycling. Okay, not just you get on your bike and you ride to your friend's house or something like that, or you get on your bike and you ride on a trail, but you get on a very specialized bike with, you know, really tight clothing and like a funny shaped helmet, and you ride in a circle. Okay, which for most Americans, it's like, yeah, we're not really big into cycling. But that's not the only kind. I know there's like Tour de France where you actually go through places and roads and stuff. That would be ciclismo. I actually have a friend who used to do competitive mountain biking where you start at the top and there's a trail and you know, whoever gets down fastest. And it was pretty pardon my Spanish, kind of fucked up because you had to wear like helmet and football pads and everything because you'd be going over rocks and doing jumps and like on these tubes. And one time she fell and like hit herself on, like she bruised one kidney because she landed on a rock and like her bike landed on her and stuff like. So that would be ciclismo, okay, competitive cycling, okay. Now, anyone here do ciclismo? Now that I've offended, like, okay, I haven't offended anyone.
My country has a lot of it.
Okay, all right, but you never like cycled competitively?
Not competitively, no, but I
Okay.
had bikes and I had some.
With the weird helmet, like the weird shaped one?
No, I had a normal helmet.
No, okay, so not, all right, so you weren't a racer, okay, basically. All right, but yeah, in a lot of countries, and I know like when I've been to Mexico and Argentina, like, yeah, like, oh, this is closed off because they're having a road race. I'm like, oh, yeah, car? No, bikes. And I'm like, bikes? I thought it was like Formula One. I thought it was like a car race. And they're like, no, it's bikes.
They close down the streets like multiple times, like sometimes every week.
Yeah.
And I get annoyed because I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, so yeah, okay, so in other countries it's pretty big, okay, or else one time my cousin took me, he's like, vamos al ciclodromo. I'm like, the cyclodrome? What the hell's that? And it was, yeah, we were watching people ride in a circle on bikes, like to see who was fastest. I'm just like, oh, yay, it's like NASCAR, but on a bike, basically, just go around in circles, okay, so anyways. If you enjoy ciclismo, it's not all that bad. I mean, we drank beer and, stuff like that, so that's more fun. Okay, just like NASCAR, it's better when you've had a couple beers. Okay, so moving on to the left, this is something else that some of you may do. Okay, sacar fotos. What is sacar fotos? Yeah, take pictures. And it's not just, Jacque whipping out his phone and taking selfies and, pictures of whatever, but you have like an actual camera and, you set it up and you take and I know a few people that do that like, yeah, I'm there with my phone just snapping things. I'm like, all right, it's like, no, I gotta get the right shot. All right. And of course, granted, it does look much better than mine. And like, you can see the butterfly wings and all of the little veins in the leaves and all of that. So if that's you, okay, that's something else you can do. All right. Now, moving kind of to the right, to someone who's old like me, it's not really a thing, but I know for you young people, okay, los jóvenes, I know my kids do this a lot, and it's considered a free time activity. They're sitting on the bench there. Mandar mensajes de texto. What is mandar mensajes de texto? Yeah, just literally just texting people. It's like, yeah, no. So what are you doing, Lexi? Oh, I'm texting. I'm like, no, but I mean, like, what do you do? Yeah, I'm texting. It's like, oh, that's the thing. Okay. To me, it's just like communication. Like, I don't sit there and just communicate. Maybe I don't. All right. And then, of course, just usar el teléfono. You can either say celular or inteligente. I tend to use the term celular, so usar el teléfono celular, which would just be what? Yeah, just to be on your phone, to use your phone. It's like, like I asked my son, so what are you doing? He's like, I'm on my phone. And, it's like, okay, yeah, you're just what on your phone? Okay.
Would you leave one of the words out, just say cellular or just say telephone?
Yeah. And once again, yes, it's kind of a generational thing. Most younger people would just say, oh, usar el celular. Okay, I'm just using my cellular, or usar el teléfono. Okay. If you're in Europe, they say usar el móvil, using the mobile, okay, type of thing. So, and see, there goes Lexi. All right, playing on her phone. Okay, so yes, a free time activity. No, I shouldn't say it, because you know what? Your grandkids are going to be like doing their AI inside their brain, and you'll be like, oh, I remember back in my day, you had to use your fingers. All right, like type of thing. So yeah, okay. If you go down to the cowboy, okay, best I can call it, montar a caballo. What is montar a caballo? To ride a horse or horseback riding, however you want to translate it, okay, está bien, okay? So for some people, that's your free time activity, that's what you do, okay? Anyone aquí monta a caballo? No? Okay. I usually have at least one. Jacque, really? You do you have horses or you just cousins? Okay, all right. Yeah, I was gonna say every now and then there's like one person that's like, yeah, I ride. You know, like either you go to whatever ranch or someone they know has horses or whatever. Okay, so está bien. Okay. Do you like dress up? Do you do the whole outfit? Oh. Oh, right. Okay. I once asked a person, and they're like, "Yeah, I've got the tight little khakis and the little sport jacket and the funny." I'm like, "Oh, you do competitive, right?" It's like, "Yeah." I'm just like, "Oh shit, okay." Okay, so I'm like, that's serious, like All right, muy bien. Okay. I'm afraid of horses, so yeah, I no. Okay. Unless it's the one like that goes up and down and there's music and it goes in a circle. All right. Yes. Yes. Those horses are fun. Okay. So I can say that. All right. Move to the right, un poquito. Okay. And this one's really hard. Hacer un picnic. Having a picnic, yeah. Okay. So that's something you can do in your free time. You and your significant other or your family or your friends. Okay. Move to the far left because we'll go from left to right. Okay. This one I don't get unless I'm being chased by a bear. Although, salud, right now with this foot, the bear would definitely win. Correr. What is correr?
Running.
To run. Yeah, running. Some people, believe it or not, do that in their free time. Okay. Do we have any? Sorry, before I just insult everyone again. Oliver's like, I run for fun. So some people run for fun, or are you like on track team? Do you run track? Okay, so track. All right. So yeah, competitive running. Type El Boilermaker. No. Oh, okay.
I did track and field, but I never did.
Oh, it's time to do that 15K. All right. You're like no. Huh?
Or the 5.
Yeah, you can start with the 5 and then move your way up, Oliver. So Oliver's like, no. So I tell people one day maybe I'll use my bicicleta for the 15K. Like I can do that.
We did it once, a 5K, because the medal. My wife thought the medal was so nice that we should run it just to have that medal. That was the only time.
And I know a lot of people do it for that. The El Boilermaker, though, you also get free beer at the end. So I know tons of people that do it for the free beer.
Wait, what?
You get free beer at the end because it ends at the brewery. That's the finish line.
Well, that convinces me that I have to.
And once you can do the 5K and still get the free beer. So you don't even have to run the 9 miles. All right. So yeah, you get there.
The only reason I know what that is because I was taking up a job for the summer in Utica, and then I just heard that everyone's like, oh yeah, they're closing all these roads for the Boilermaker.
Yeah,
What is that?
they closed down all of Utica.
Where are
So.
you from that you don't know what the Boilermaker is? As one of my friends would say, in the middle of nowhere.
So.
Yeah. As one of my friends would like to tease me about, I use horse and buggy. Well,
Muy
not
bien.
anymore, but.
Muy bien. All right, so correr. So we've got one runner, and the rest of us, we just run away from bears or for free medals. All right, so está bien. Okay, for the bling. Patinar en línea. What do you think? Patinar en línea. It could either be rollerblading or roller skating. In Espanol, we do not make much of a distinction, I think, between the 4 and then the 4 like this. Okay, but please be aware. Okay, patinar does mean to skate, and typically, if you just use that, it's on a skateboard. Patinar. But if you put patinar en línea, it's the wheels on your foot. Okay?
What's ice skating?
That was my next thing. And it's pronounced hielo, kind of like the color. All right, so patinar en hielo. Okay, ice skate. Okay? So we don't have to ask Levi. I'm sure he ice skates. Everybody does, right, in Europe. You're like, almost.
You have more here because it's colder.
Okay. Anyone patina en hielo? No, si, poquito.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
A little bit.
All right. Yeah, as long as I have that little thing, you know, I'm great. I'm perfect. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that the little kids have. All right. So yeah. Yeah. So okay. So muy bien. All right. So patinar en línea, to roller skate or rollerblade. Patinar is just to skate, typically on a skateboard, and then patinar en hielo, to ice skate. Okay. Jugar al voleibol. All right. I hope you don't need help translating voleibol. All right. Jugar means to play, but remember we learned a verb to play before. What was it? Tocar. That,
One instrument.
yes, that has to do with music, either a musical instrument or any kind of music. Okay? Jugar is to play a sport or to play a game. Okay? So, see, we're learning the other verb to play. Okay? So, you know, jugar al voleibol, to play volleyball. All right? And then finalmente, there on the sand, tomar el sol. Sunbathe, to tan, to lay out, to catch some rays. However you want to translate the act of going from Lexi to Senor Santos's color, okay? I can tease her, we're BFFs. All right, so, you know, however you're going to translate it that way, she's like, I'm going to get you Santos, all right? After this is over, okay? So yeah, to lay out, to sunbathe, to tan, to whatever, okay? That is also a free time, I mean, maybe not today, but that is also a free time activity. Just go and lay out and get yourself a nice cappuccino colored like Santos is, all right? Looking en el agua, in the water, okay? Starting on the left, esquiar en el agua. Water ski, yeah. Esquiar means to ski, and then of course agua. Now, if all you say is esquiar, and if you look at the top of the next page, that is snow skiing, okay? If you don't have to say snow, you just say esquiar, and it's assumed you're talking about snow. But if you're water skiing, you have to add agua, okay? Esquiar en el agua. Yeah. Okay. If you say I'm going skiing, I don't automatically assume that you're going to get pulled behind a boat. Okay. You're going to Whiteface and going downhill. Okay, type of thing. Okay. So, and the last one, what is nadar?
Swim.
To swim. All right. Yeah, nadar, to swim. Okay. Now, just like cycling and riding a bike, nadar is you just plopping around any body of water, okay, your friend's pool, your pool, the river, the lake, whatever, okay? But natación is competitive swimming, okay? So if you were on the swim team, if you do the 400 relay, if you do the 100 butterfly or freestyle or whatever, okay, then that is natación, okay? Or I was going to say Olympics, etc. Okay. Did anyone here do natación en la escuela? Once again, there's usually at least one swimmer that's like, yeah, I did, the 4x100, and I did this, and I'm like, okay, muy bien, okay, excelente, okay. You have to wear the little cap and all of that, all right. If you go to the next page, already did esquiar, okay, but move on down the mountain, okay. Pescar, what is pescar?
Fish.
To fish, yeah, to fish. Some people do that as a way to relax, as a way to, get away from things. Others do it as a way to eat, okay? So, pescar, all right? Now, I didn't know this was a thing until like one night at 2 a.m. watching ESPN. There apparently is competitive fishing, la pesca, okay? And so, yes, if you compete in fishing, okay, then it is la pesca, Okay, it could also refer to like you're just going to fish, like it's like an excursion. You're going away for like a month just to go fishing, or if you're like a fisherman, a sailor, oh, I'm off to la pesca, you know, type of thing. But typically, it's competitive fishing. All right, which little by little I'm learning the size, the weight, the color, all, you know, and you get points. All right, for it. Okay. Anyone here pesca? Anyone here go fishing a lot, mucho? Okay, muy bien. Like you have your own stick and everything. I know it's not a stick, but okay. I have been fishing 2 times in my entire life. Okay, I'm 53 years old. I've been twice. Never caught a damn thing. Okay, the only way I was able to catch fish, and this is in California, so a lot of the streams have to be seeded. I threw marshmallows in, and it brought all the fish, and then you jump in with a net, and you can get them all that way. Ryan's like, you asshole. So yeah, okay. But you know, sitting out, I'd be like, yeah, no, it didn't work. Okay. So Kay, what do you normally fish for around here? Bass?
Mostly bass.
Okay, muy bien. The only name I know, because this is what I have fished for, is trucha, and that is Spanish for trout. Okay, so that's the thing. I say I fished for it because I never caught anything. So yeah. Now, the other thing in Spanish, pez is fish, but that is, and we've talked about this before when we talked about pets, that is an alive fish. That is your pet. After Ryan is through with it, it is now pescado. Oh, wait, I gotta draw X's and a sad face. Okay? Because now it's dead. It has been removed from the water. Oh, do you throw it back? Are you one of those? Oh my God. Then what's the point? I'm like, the only reason I was convinced to go fishing those 2 times is because I was promised I was gonna get food. I was gonna get trout, because I love trout, all right? So I was like, yes, okay. So they're like, Santos, you didn't catch anything, you don't eat. That's when I jumped in with a net. And I'm like, okay, I got this much fish, okay? Oh my God, okay, you just ruined fishing for me, Ryan. So anyways, all right, so pescar, to fish. Okay, and yes, pez is alive, pescado is what Santos wants it to be, all right, for dinner, okay, type of thing. Oh, if you've never had fish and eggs in the morning, that I enjoyed, see, because it was like a week-long fishing trip, so, you know, fish and eggs in the morning, all right, muy rico. Okay, not for Ryan, of course, but for Santos. All right, moving on down. Okay, oh, this is why, you know, Jacque back there looks so jacked. Levantar pesas. What is levantar pesas? Lift weights. Okay, now if you want to say lift weights, weightlifting, you know, weight, whatever, I don't know what else y'all call it. Levantar pesas. Okay, besides Jacque, anyone else levanta pesas? Yeah, no, poquito. I mean, Josue's a soccer player, so they don't lift weights. All right, so yeah, okay. All right. Now, I don't know why they don't put the old man closer to the guy taking pictures, but cámara digital, digital camera, once again, as opposed to just taking pictures on your phone, you have an actual, like, good camera, all right? So you get really, really nice pictures. Hacer ejercicio. Hacer means to do. So, ejercicio?
Do exercise.
Yeah, and if you want to translate it as do exercise, that's fine. If you want to translate it as working out, that's fine. If you want to translate it as exercising, that's fine, you know, because there's no like literal direct translation, okay? And then finalmente, at the far right, jugar al baloncesto.
Play basketball.
To play basketball, okay? Jugar means to play. Now, please be aware, and I don't know why they did this, baloncesto is typically only used in España, okay? Guess what basketball is in Espanol?
Basketball.
Basketball, sí. Just call it basketball, okay? It is spelled with a Q instead of a K, okay? So basket, and it's B-O-L, not B-A-L-L, okay? Basketball. But if you just say basketball, all right, you're fine for your speaking. If you want to say baloncesto, that's also fine, okay? But once again, most people understand it, but it's typically only used in España. And if you want to know, cesto literally means basket, balón means ball, because remember in Spanish we reverse the order, so it's ball basket, not basketball. Okay? All right. If you go to the top of the blue thing, remember, once again, I'm not going to go through all of these, but you are responsible for knowing what they mean. It's called reading and studying. Okay? So, the word pasatiempo means pastimes. I already gave you deportes, sports. Okay? So, other things that you could do in your free time. Okay? Dar un paseo literally means to go for a walk. You can, as opposed to caminar, which is like, oh, I have to give Levi a pen, so I'm going to walk over there, camino, all right? Because I'm not going to throw it at him. But dar un paseo is literally like to go for a stroll. Like, I know that's a word your grandparents would use. So, you go to the park and you just follow the trail that's on so that's dar un paseo. Okay, or you're like the old people at the mall, they walk around like the entire mall. All right, that's dar un paseo. Okay, or your date is really, really cheap, and so Nyla says, yes, I'll go for a walk with you. All right, so dar un paseo. Okay, you just walk on a trail and whatever. Huh?
I gotta be broke. Take her on a walk.
Yeah, why? Otherwise, buy her a coffee, Jacque. Come on. It's like, how much,
Walking, talking, enjoying it. No, we broke.
Jacque, buy her a coffee, all right? You're gonna.
You ain't gotta go
It's
to
funny.
the
It's funny because my dad was very, very old-fashioned, and he'd always ask me, "¿Tienes dinero? Do you have any money?" I'm like, "No, why?" He's like, "Y si ves a una chica? What if you see a cute girl?" And so he'd give me like $10 back then. That was a lot. All right, like he's like, le compras una soda, you can buy her a soda or something. I'm like, all right, thanks, Dad. I'm like, it's not the 1950s anymore. I'm not gonna, take her for a soda. If you've ever seen Back to the Future, a mall or what. But okay, if I'd keep the $10 and buy myself something, after a
There you
couple.
go.
So, but it was just so. Jacque, if I have to give you 20 to buy her a coffee, because I know coffee's expensive, get her a latte, all right, not just any coffee. All right, we said Hugar.
You're not never hear from her again.
Oh yeah, who cares, man? It's what? So what? You're out $8. Hugar, okay? To play, all right? Remember most sports, okay? So baseball, okay? Golf, okay? Tennis, all right? Now the only one, like I said, a few exceptions, okay? Natación, competitive swimming. But you do have to be careful because in Espanol, what is fútbol? Soccer. If you want to talk about the Jets and the Giants and the Bills and the Patriots, okay, fútbol americano, American football. And I've often had students be like, well, it's supposed to be that. Well, actually, if you go to Britain, they also call it football and American football. So we're just kind of following the British English model type of thing. Okay, so if you like, if you're a Chiefs fan, it's fútbol americano. If you're a fan of Barcelona or Manchester United, then it's fútbol. Okay. Pretty much every other sport, like people have had, because I've had, on occasion lacrosse players. Santos, what's lacrosse? I'm like, I'll give you one guess. Lacrosse. All right, el lacrosse, okay? The only one to kind of give you a warning about, or just to kind of clarify, remember we don't pronounce our H's. So what is oki?
Hockey.
But what kind?
Ice hockey.
C. Okay. If you just say oki, then yes, there is other kinds of hockey.
Field hockey.
Thank you, Emma. And that is called oki de campo. Okay, field hockey. Any field hockey? I know it's a girl sport. Ladies, no. Okay. No field hockey players. Okay, but if you played field hockey, it's oki de campo. Okay. The verb ir means to go. All right. So this one's just for you, Jacque. You wanna ask someone to ir a tomar un café. Take someone to drink coffee. Okay, you go drink coffee with someone. Or even better for Jacque, if he's going out with someone older, ir a un bar. ¿Qué es un bar en inglés? A bar, yes. All right, ir a un bar, ir a un bar. Okay, ir a un club. Now, el club. Thank you, Emma, for the visual. It can mean a dance club, but typically, in a lot of Spanish-speaking countries, you don't have, like, for the most part, like tennis courts or like a pool or whatever in a public park. You actually have to be a member of a club, you know. So, for example, a lot of my cousins were members of a tennis club. And so when I went to visit them in Mexico, they'd be like, hey, Santos, ¿quieres ir el club de tenis? And I'd be like, okay. So you go, you get dressed up, you play tennis there, okay? And stuff like that, okay? So yeah, it can mean, what Emma was doing, okay? That one, though, if you skip down, discoteca, okay? That is the dance club. That is, the party place. I don't even know what's around here anymore. All right? I'm way too old for that shit. So, you guys can fill me in. But, ir a una discoteca, and yes, it does mean a disco or a discotheque. But please be aware that it got the name 50 years ago when disco was a thing. Music has changed. The name did not, unlike English. In English, you don't say, I'm going down to the disco, and hear club music or whatever. In Espanol, voy a la discoteca, and yeah, there'll be Bad Bunny and, all of that stuff playing, no disco music, okay? The name stayed, the music didn't, okay? So, ir al cine, okay, Jacque, after you take her out for coffee, go to the movies, okay, ir al cine. That's where you get the word cinema from, okay, cine, okay? Or if you're like Santos, I just like to ir de compras, just go shopping, all right? That is muy divertido, a lot of fun, okay? It has a couple other things you might do in your free time. Practicar deportes, maybe not on a team, but pick up games, okay, play sports. Tocar la guitarra, if you do music, if you play a guitar, okay. The difference between ver una película, to watch a movie, and ir al cine, like I can go back to my office and ver una película. I can watch a movie on my phone, en mi teléfono, or en mi tableta. I have my tableta right here, okay, as opposed to going to a theater, okay. One of my favorite things, visitar museo, go to a museum, okay. Now, when it comes to los deportes, to sports, okay, campo. Campo we use whenever the sport requires a field or a course. El campo de golf, golf course, okay. El campo de fútbol, soccer field, okay. Hockey de campo, field hockey. Cancha, on the other hand, if we use a court, okay, then la cancha de basketball, all right, basketball court. La cancha de tenis, tennis court, okay. I hope I don't have to translate internet, all right? But be aware that when it comes to technology, because technology moves faster than language, no matter what language you're talking about, most technology words are literally taken from Inglés and just say it with a little Spanish accent. Typically, we make them masculine too. El iPhone, okay? El Internet, okay? El iPad, all right? You know, so. Oh, el app. ¿Qué es el app? Yeah, an app, all right? And we literally just call it el app, all right? Naturaleza, nature, okay? Partido means game, in this case, in sports, okay? It's like an official game, okay? Score is being kept, there's two teams, okay, type of thing. Juego means game, like a board game or a card game, or, you know, Levi and some of his friends just show up at a cancha de basketball and boom, all right, let's split up, you three, us three, 3-on-3, it's un juego, all right, we're just doing a pickup game, okay, type of thing. All right, they're not like, sorry, Levy, they're not a real team, you know, they don't have uniforms, they're just there, they divide themselves up and they play a quick game to 21, boom, okay? So, un juego, all right? But partido is an actual game. I guess you can also say a match, if that is a little clearer, it's like an official game, okay? Preguntas. If you look at the very bottom there, I usually don't say sacar photos when it comes to taking pictures. A lot of people will say tomar fotos. What does tomar mean again? Literally.
Take.
To take. Yeah, so if you want to say tomar photos instead of sacar photos, that's fine. Okay. You know, a lot of people actually say it that way. It's almost even. Okay, if you turn the page, por favor, okay, and if you look on page 91, okay, because in Espanol, we have 3 different words that mean ball. I know, we have to make it hard. Just like, you know, we've got 2 different words that mean to play, depending on what you're playing, okay? Pelota is a ball, but it is your smallest one. So a tennis ball, a baseball, typically we call a pelota, okay? Balón also means ball, but that is your bigger one. A volleyball, a soccer ball, a basketball is a balón, okay? If you call a basketball a pelota, no one's really gonna like say anything, because it does make sense, but they might look at you a little funny, okay? It's like calling, you know, that in escritorio when it's like a pupitre. It's a student desk, not like a desk. Okay, I mean, it still makes sense, and people will still like be whatever. Okay, it's Aiden, you know, he's a foreigner. It's okay, but you know, I suppose if you call a baseball a balón, that one's kind of like, yeah, that's not really right. It's like calling my office desk a pupitre. All right, you know, it's like, yeah, sorry, Lexi, you're way off. That's not the right word at all. Okay, I mean, I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about. All right. And then we have the word bola, which a lot of people will use for both or for anything that's like round and can be thrown like a ball. Okay, like a beach ball, like the ones you inflate and stuff like that. You can also use it for, you know, una bola de basketball or una bola de fútbol or una bola de baseball. Okay, now, me gusta mucho el baseball. Okay, just FYI. Bola is part of the in sport terminology. So when you're calling balls and strikes, it's like tres bolas, okay? 3 balls, okay? The word for strike is just strike, you know, tres bolas, una strike, okay? Type of thing, all right? So we also use it for that, okay? The word estadio, okay, for stadium, okay? Oh, I already did this one. Juego means game, but this is like either a board game, a card game, or when it comes to sports, a casual pickup game, okay? And oh my goodness, maybe you can figure it out, maybe you can't. ¿Qué es videojuego?
Video game.
Video game, yes. Okay, so if you like videojuegos, all right, you either play them on your teléfono or is Wii still a thing? That's okay.
The brand.
What?
I mean, yeah.
Fine. PlayStation. Like, what are we at? Ocho now? No.
5.
Oh, cinco. Okay.
Yeah, 5. Close enough. Yeah.
I don't play game. I don't play video games. Lo siento.
I'm starting to believe your age.
Okay. Good. All right. That.
That's not no free A anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now you're gonna have to
just
work
watch
for it
your
again.
ages.
I think the last system I owned was a Sega, the Genesis. Like, after that, it just got, I lost interest. At some point, I don't know, you guys are probably like, never. At some point, you do lose interest in video juegos, and, you know, reality becomes more important. So yeah. Although every now and then, if I do find one of those old, like if it's Pac-Man or, you know, the type of thing on the handheld, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like middle school again, you know, type of thing. Pero, all right, no, not too many videojuegos para mí, okay? And I apologize because the thing about balls was on the previous one, where it gives you baloncesto and basketball, but also, you know, pelota, balón, or bola, okay? It doesn't explain the size difference, okay? And then, of course, it also gives you the correct spelling of basketball in Espanol, all right, with a Q and an OL. And there's an accent on the A. I forgot about that one, lo siento, okay? Yeah, so maybe you might want to write baloncesto. It's easier to spell, okay? Even though basketball is easier to say, okay? All right, so